everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Channel. You've got Murph, you've got Jacob Collins, and that means we are live one more time for the iRacing INDYCAR Open Series Top Split, and do we have a dandy for you. The heavies are here, 5,552, the strength of field. The ticket to ride, Jarrett Corey, the low man, 43.37. Jacob, we haven't seen a field like this outside Indianapolis in a long time, my man.
No, it's been quite a long while. Obviously, Milwaukee was kind of the big race after the 500 historically, so it's good to see the heavy hitters kind of taking into the spirit of that here at the historic track in West Dallas, Wisconsin.
It is the historic track. We are virtually in the land of beer, cheese. Jacob Collins, Phil Kraus, you name it, they're all here. We'll all be here next week, Mr. Collins. I'll even come to the state of Wisconsin if the sheriff doesn't chase me out to enjoy some racing action.
Certainly should be a good pair of races. Obviously, the last couple of them we've had at the Speedway here have been pretty good, so we'll hopefully get a couple more in 2026.
Yeah, they have. Who could remember last year, the second race, Christian Rasmussen hanging it in the cushion, driving around Alex Plow to win that one. This place is steeped in open wheel history, racing history, you name it. Former horse track. First motor race here, September 11, 1903. You heard that right, fans. This 1.015 mile track is almost 10 years older than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was first paved in the 1960s, and the tradition of hosting the race after the Indianapolis 500 began in 1947, and it was very famously described by Paul Newman in the 1969 movie Winning. The saying, everybody goes to Milwaukee after Indianapolis, well, that held true for nearly 50 years. At one time, it held an IRL race and a Champ Car race. They even staged a Champ Car race here at night, Jacob. You remember that?
I do seem to recall that.
Brought in temporary lighting for this joint, and now, well, it's just regular daytime racing. It is a doubleheader. We're going to jump on board Brendan Lichtenberg and show you what a lap here looks like. This track is very interesting. It is symmetrical. You do have some banking around here, Jacob. You do have some banking around here at 9.25 degrees on the turns, 2.25 in the 2.5 in the straights, but it's not symmetrical, is it?
Well, it looks symmetrical supposedly, and it's relatively flat supposedly, but if anybody's stepped foot anywhere near the Speedway, they tell you that's definitely not the case. There's definitely a lot more to it than meets the eye, at least from afar. You got to really get up close and personal with the 1 mile track here in West Dallas. It's got a bit of character, hasn't been repaved in a very long time, if I recall correctly, last being done even partially in 2004. So the scan we have here in iRacing, I believe, is from around 2007. It's kind of stood up the test of time. The pavement hasn't changed. The walls have changed color about a dozen times. And so have the billboards around it. But this track has stayed tried and true to its roots all the way through.
Just watching Brendan Lichtenberg, he slots in 9th quick. The majority of the field has qualified. Matter of fact, nobody else is on the course, and Alexander Russell has laid claim to the pole at 171.533 miles an hour. The track record here is held by Scott Pruitt, 1998 edition of what was then the Miller 200. 21.519 was the time. For Mr. Pruitt, the current IndyCar track record is held by Helio Castroneves, 22.1211 miles an hour. And on the grid for this one, it's a star-studded field. The time, 21.302. That is a shade faster than the absolute track record. Give it to this man, Alexander Russell. Robert Molesco III will start outside. It's an all-power slide lockout. Adam Blocker going to be third. Anna Klimek will be the first fighter for Team I5G in fourth. Jason Brophy, it'll make 3 cars in a row on the inside line. He'll start fifth. For Power Slide, Caleb Brashear for I5G in 6th. Ty Keela leads the Alliance Brigade. Rogue Racing in 7th, and Jarrett Corey will line up 8th. Brendan Lichtenberg 9th for Team I5G, and Brian Campbell rounds out your top 10. In 11th, Matt Taylor, Andrew Marquez will start from the 12th spot. Indy Kirchenbauer will be 13th. He'll be lined up next to Rashad Craig, former series champ. He'll go 14th. Alan Berteau and Logan Edwards will make up row 8. Ricky Paz, Lilac Zier, row 9. And the back row, it's Matt Hollybaugh, and Kyle Clinworth is going to start shotgun on the field. There he is, still seeing the Justin Petchower liveries. Love to see him. And Mr. Collins, this has all the makings of a rumble.
Yeah, 150 laps tonight. One that we're likely going to see 2 pit stops for. I believe the fuel mileage around here is around 50 to 60 laps. If somebody has a better number that can quote me on that, go ahead. But I believe we're going to see likely 2 pit stops here tonight. And there's a lot of wiggle room here, especially if you get a couple of yellows here, Mark, to maybe stretch that fuel economy out. Try to reduce it down to maybe even just 1 stop here should things swing just that far.
You know you do, and it's a lot of it's going to depend on the yellow lights, but it is possible to do it in 1 stop. Of course, Jacob, you'd have to turn the fuel all the way down, get a look outside the left eye, the pole sitter Alexander Russell. Power slide 1, 2, 3, then I5G, power slide I5G, Alliance, I5G, and Alliance, your top 10. There are a lot of big team drivers in this race, Mr. Collins.
Certainly going to be interesting to watch the dynamics play throughout the field tonight. We're going to get just 1 pace lap here as this track does measure at exactly 1 mile. And we'll head off turn number 4 and get underway here as the pace car will pull off in due time, Mark.
Maybe not exactly a mile. There's some disagreement about that, Jacob. The official measurement, 1.015 miles, as Alexander Russell hits the loud pedal. Barney throws the green flag in the air, and we are underway here at the Milwaukee Mile. You see Jason Brophy, he'll slide into the 4th spot and make it a power slide 1, 2, 3, 4 through turns 1 and 2. Anna Klimek has to do battle with Ty Keela there for the 6th spot, and hanging his head on the outside, that's Jarrett Corey.
Yeah, the old Thomas Schechter line, as I believe it was coined at a point in time. He's hanging it high, wide, and handsome up on the top side. It's going to dip down low this time as Ty will opt to take the upper lane, trying to look to the outside of Klimek off 2. Thought maybe they were going to make contact there. Very, very close call for those 2.
They very darn near did. Ty Keela hangs it up on the outside. Same with teammate Jarrett Corey. And now Ty Keela going to go for the switchback on Anna Klimek. He's going to try to roll up into the 4th spot. But he's going to get a face full of dirty air from Jason Brophy headed through turns 1 and 2. Ty Keela cannot make the move stick, and he'll fall back in line. You almost want to play a little bit of carom pool, Mr. Collins, with that curb there on the inside line, don't you?
Yeah, if you can get a little bit of roll over it at just the right angle at just the right time, you can use it to kind of hook your car around the corner a little better as Keela shoots to the bottom in 1 and 2 once again. He's going to get the exit, but Klemek's still there on the outside, going to drag him back.
We'll see if Ty Keela can make that move stick through turns 3 and 4. Just can't quite do it. The tires are starting to get up to temperature. Anna Klimek with the clean air on the top. She'll make it even Steven at the line. I think Ty might have been ahead by an inch or 2 headed through there, but he's not able to quite complete the pass. Now he's going to slide up in front of Anna Klimek, move Ty Keela to 5th, Anna Klimek back to 6th, and Ty Keela will set sail after Jason Brophy still running that high line, Mr. Collins.
Yeah, we're seeing him kind of use a mix on each end of the track, maybe rolling higher in 3 and 4 than 1 and 2, and that isn't entirely atypical in a lot of cases. This track kind of, as we mentioned earlier, it's symmetrical essentially in looks only here, and you're going to see drivers tackling each end of the speedway here just a little bit differently, and we're seeing that especially with these Rogue Racing cars towards the back half of the top 10.
We are. They are way up in the high lane. Caleb Brashear tried to make a move under Jarrett Corey to the bottom side, but it wasn't really the bottom. He was more in lane 2.5. Corey all the way up next to the fence. He'll retain that spot. Indy Kirchenbauer, he's working on Brendan Lichtenberg, and they've got Brian Campbell in tow as well. Soup in the Justin Petchower tribute all the way on the bottom. You got Taylor on the top, and Indy, well, he's somewhere in the middle.
Indy will take that 9th place spot away from the Hyperstar and start working his way forward. That'll put Lichtenberg and Campbell in a battle for 10th, with Lichtenberg's teammate Matt Taylor looking on. Side by side between the blue painted machines of different shades through 3 and 4.
They are, and you got more battle, and going on behind him, Rashad Craig will sneak through on Matt Taylor. Can Rashad Craig make that move? You got teammates in different lines, and Rashad Craig, he loves Milwaukee. Jacob Collins, not known as an oval guy, but if there's one he likes, this is it. Rashad Craig, he started to march toward the front, made up a couple of spots, and he'll see if he can't take one away from the Hyperstar, Brendan Lichtenberg, down the front, move him to 11th.
You know, we talk kind of time and time again when we come to these shorter ovals that they kind of drive like mini road courses, and road course drivers like Rashad Craig tend to find themselves at home battling on especially these flat tracks. The likes of Milwaukee and New Hampshire come to mind. So we'll see if Rashad can keep moving that IAR machine further up the field as he's side by side with Brendan for 11th here.
He is. This is the best battle on the race course right here. It's Brendan Lichtenberg and Rashad Craig, and they're still even. Indy Kirchenbauer has moved up. He's currently working on Caleb Brashear for the 8th spot. Brashear on the top. Kirchenbauer on the bottom. Rashad Craig will secure the position on Brendan Lichtenberg. Move Rashad to 11th. The Hyperstar to 12th. And now we've got Brashear and Indy Kirchenbauer. This is 8th and 9th.
Kirchenbauer looks to the inside once again, gets a decent run off the exit of 4. He'll be side by side down the front stretch. See if he can make a move into 1 and 2 here. He's going to take a big old lunge. Not quite able to make that stick as Brashear will power around on the outside and hold him honest down the backstretch.
He is, and you can kind of see the 3 different lines from the rear of Jarrett Corey. You're riding in one of them. He's entering kind of higher. He's running at a little bit of a late exit, late apex. He's exited on the bottom, a little bit toward the bottom side. That's hurting Indy Kirchenbauer because as soon as he pulls even with Caleb Brashear, gets a face full of dirty air and has to hit the binder so as not to hit the i5G machine on the top. Brashear, the red, white, and blue gold wings on that machine, and there you see you got the best seat in the house on Jarrett Corey's gearbox. Meanwhile, you don't want to take away from it, but Alexander Russell, there he is. He has gone away into his own zip code, Jacob. Some 1.2 seconds ahead of Adam Blocker. Blocker is about the same distance ahead of Robert MilewauKee, and they are 2.5 seconds. He is 2.5 seconds clear of Jason Brophy. Big gap. There's Blocker in second. MilewauKee is third, and then there's a big gap. It's almost a full corner back to Jason Brophy. Brophy himself is nearly a second clear of Ty Keela. We've kind of started to settle in a little bit, Mr. Collins, except for this battle between Caleb Brashear and Indy Kirchenbauer. Indy dives to the bottom one more time. He got way down on the bottom there. Almost went, well, he did go over the rumble strips, and he makes the move on Caleb Brashear.
Definitely making the most of the track where he can find it here. Big move through 1 and 2 for Kirchenbauer. He's going to start looking to hunt down Jarrett Corey up ahead here. And I think the thing to point out with that battle, I guess the spread of the field near the front, is Brophy had to make moves on at least the likes of Anna Klemek off the start here to get into that 4th place position. So that might have been just enough to spread the field out to the point where Brophy has to maybe work his way back towards the rest of his power slide teammates at the front here.
Well, you don't know the agenda, right? You don't know the agenda for Alex Russell. You don't know it for Adam Blocker or Robert MilewauKee. You don't know it for Jason Brophy. I would surmise, though, that Brophy might be saving himself a little bit of fuel here. Pretty decently long coast phase there. He may be trying to stretch this long, and of course Milwaukee is a track that no matter where you pit from, Jacob, you're going to go at least 1 lap down, if not 2, on the pit lane. It's an odd pit lane. The warm-up lane that you got to use is pretty slick. If there's a chance at a caution, it's going to come in 1 of 2 ways. Either the leaders working lap traffic with speed differential or under a green flag pit stop cycle, so running long may come in handy.
Yeah, and especially with how difficult it is to even get on the pit lane here. It's essentially a chicane around a pit lane wall or an outside pit lane wall. And then it has a slight downhill to it as you exit it. as you approach a wall that not only tightens but leads you onto a very narrow access lane to get revved up off the exit of 2 and then finally rejoin the race course proper. So very tricky pit lane here. They're working with what they got here. You can see there's kind of the underpass tunnel right before the pit lane there. There's not really much further they can extend that entry mark.
No, there's not. And if you want to see the entry to pit lane, it'll be up here on your left. It's just basically a hole in the wall. You got to start slowing down about right here, and then you make a very abrupt left, and you've got to slam on the brakes, Jacob, because the speed limit cone is right there at that opening. It's a very odd pit lane to get onto. These drivers are going to have their hands full. Ty Keela is reeling in Jason Brophy in front of him, right on board Ty Keela. The green wheels, the Justin Petschauer blue and white. Behind him, Jarrett Corey has been slowly whittling away at Anna Klimek, and there's Anna in the I5G machine, the pink deer colors for Anna Klimek. She continues along, and they've managed to tow Indy Kirchenbauer into this fight. Caleb Brashear, he's started to go backwards. He's in a battle with Brian Campbell, Soup, making the challenge for the 9th spot. He'd love to have that over Caleb Brashear as they barrel off into turn 1.
That's starting to get, or become rather, the closest battle on the track here, as Campbell's within 0.2 of a second of Brashear now as they head through 3 and 4. We'll see how that maintains onto the front stretch. Ooh, very close call. Campbell shoots to the bottom, just barely makes it off the back of Brashear there.
Yeah, he had
to the inside.
He had to yank the wheel pretty doggone hard, Jacob, to make that drop on board Ryan Campbell as he continues to fight Caleb Brashear for the 9th spot. And don't look now, but Kyle Clinworth, whoa! There's going to be a Minecraft village burning tonight somewhere. Caleb Brashear hard in the wall.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Maybe a contesting for the same piece of real estate. Get a look back at it.
You know, it's they were awfully close, and they got a little bit too close for Caleb Brashear. Here they are. Got Brian Campbell on the bottom rather. Brashear on the top. Down they go, and golly, that is 2 cars just going right for the same real estate. And then Brashear almost saves it. What's the golden rule, Jacob? Don't ever turn a ground effects oval car to the right. He turned it right. It hooked up with him and straight into the fence. Tough break for Caleb Brashear. And that might have been a little net Cody too there.
Pretty much everybody's going to come down the pit lane here. It looks like the lone not currently staying out is Matt Taylor. So he'll cycle to the front. We'll see if he comes down. Maybe he's just trying to extend this out another lap to get down the pit lane here. Matt Hollabaugh joins him. So those are 2 cars staying out under this first caution, at least for this trip around. We'll see if they come down this next time around. Race off pit road. Russell, Blocker, Malechka, Brophy, Ty Keela, Anna Klimek, Jarrett Corey, Campbell, Kirchenbauer, Clinworth will be the effective top 10 behind those 2. And then you got Rashad Craig, Alan Berteau, Marquez, Edwards, Lichtenberg, Ricky Paz, Lilac Zier, and of course Brashear trying to repair that IR18 in the pit lane, now multiple laps down.
Now, if you were going to do this in one stop, you're going to need these yellows, and I have a feeling that may be what Taylor and Hollabaugh are playing at. They were among the back 5 before this yellow flew. And Jacob, you know, it could be that they were back there saving some gas, you know, that they had committed to that fuel save early, and that this was going to be their shot. If they got a yellow, they were going to stay out, claim the track position, and just kind of stay there as long as they can, right?
Yeah, and track position's at such a premium, right? You know, we were watching Kyle Clinworth slowly start to work his way through the field after starting shotgun on the field. He's made his way up to 12th now, obviously with Hollabaugh and Taylor at the front cycled ahead now. So it'll be interesting to see as he's worked his way kind of the middle of the field now, that he's maybe around more cars that are maintaining pace alongside him, how easy it'll be for him to continue to move forward. As we're going to restart this time with about a fifth of the race down here, Mark, as we work on to lap 31.
We're going to see it. Barney puts the green flag up in the air. Matt Taylor, Matt Hollibaugh, Alexander Russell. Your top three, Taylor and Hollibaugh, did not stop. They've got the top two spots.
Green flag.
And away we go, back under green here at Milwaukee. It'll be interesting.
Go ahead. Mark.
I was going to say, it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes Russell and Blocker, Milewaukeee, Brophy, and company to get through those front two as Ty Keela immediately starts to work on Jason Brophy. That would be for what is effectively the fifth spot, or fourth spot rather, for Ty as he looks to the inside. And I just had an internet burp, but we're back. Everything's all good. Ty Keela continues to look at Jason Brophy. Matt Taylor is your leader. Matt Hollibaugh second. It's a pair of Matts, and for the Matts up front, Russell and Blocker have not swallowed them up as quickly as I thought they might have.
Well, they got away pretty good on the restart, and I wouldn't be surprised if Russell and Blocker are kind of just waiting these guys out, knowing they still have to come down the pit lane at some point here, right? You know, they can maybe save that extra bit of gas trying to balance out the pit stops, if you will. And Taylor and Hollibaugh, if they're trying to make that one stop a thing, they know they're not going to be pushing that hard. So that's where these guys right behind them can take advantage of. This Blocker's going to look to the inside here into 1 and 2. Maybe take advantage of the situation they find themselves in and save just a little bit of gas themselves.
Yeah, the longer you can run, the better off you're going to be. Russell on the high side, Blocker to the bottom. Adam Blocker is going to make that stick. Is Alexander Russell going to fight back down the front straightaway? He will not. So move Blocker to third, Russell fourth, Milewaukeee fifth, Brophy sixth. Ty Keela was not able to make that move stick. He is seventh, a little bit further back. Yeah, battling between Anna Klimek, Indy Kirchenbauer, Jarrett Corey, Kyle Clinworth. These cars are all kind of in a wad, and Jarrett Corey has been committed to that high side, Jacob, and he's been making it work. So too is Kyle Clinworth.
Yeah, it's kind of the trademark go where they're not, as Clinworth commits to the high side in 1 and 2 there, nearly gets into the back of Corey ahead there as they exit the corner, but he's going to do the same in 3 and 4 here. Would not surprise me if that's going to be side by side off the corner almost, as Clinworth's going to look to the inside, not have quite the momentum to make that a battle into turn number 1.
Yeah, I think Clindy had to check up just a little bit there in order to not run over his teammate. There you hear him come out of the power, and Kyle Clinworth, I think, is a little bit faster than Jarrett Corey. He just can't quite get the momentum to get around on the outside. The short way around here, Jacob, is such an advantage, but now you're going to see Clinworth get to the outside of Jarrett Corey, and I would suspect that Corey is going to fall back in line. They've got Brian Campbell back there behind him, so that's Road Racing 10th, 11th, and 12th, and they're going to start giving chase to Indy Kirchenbauer ahead in the 9th spot. A little bit further back, drivers we haven't talked about today is the Nexus Esports machine of Alan Brutteau, former series champ, runs along in the 14th spot. You've got Andrew Marquez, Team I5G, represented in 15th and 16th. He's got Logan Edwards behind him. Ricky Paz out of the Votive Racing League stable. There's Ricky in the 17th spot. He's got Lilac Zier behind him in 18th. And the Hyperstar, Brendan Lichtenberg, runs along in 19th, and you got to wonder, did he hit something? Does he have a bent race car? Or Jacob, is he playing it coy here in the early going?
Well, at least taking a look at lap times, there doesn't seem to be anything super standout in terms of maybe a extended slide or an incident off the restart here. He might just be trying to play a little bit of patience here, work the fuel number work off the back of the field here, and see what he can do maybe towards the end of the stint or potentially into that last one.
Yellow. It's Indy Kirchenbauer. Yellow light on the race course. Indy Kirchenbauer hard on the wall, and he's collected Logan Edwards as well.
Fortunately, I think Edwards just spun that IR18 around. He keeps it off of everything, but those Firestones obviously not going to be too happy about being slid around like that.
Same kind of thing. That's Clinworth on the inside. He made the move, and you had two cars go for the same piece of real estate. Jacob, only one comes out. We're going to jump on board Kyle Clinworth. There he goes. Kirchenbauer to the high side. Clindy turns it in. And, well, right across the nose is Indy Kirchenbauer. And Indy will take a hard lick into the outside wall, loses the rear wing, front wing, and there's Logan Edwards with what I call the sympathy spin coming through there. Fortunately for Edwards, he doesn't hit anything, and Ricky Paz doesn't collect him either. So good news for those drivers. Meanwhile, we've got some split strategy here, Caleb or Jacob, excuse me.
Well, there was kind of split strategy from the start there, obviously, with that first pit stop with Taylor and Hollabaugh staying out. I believe both of them came down this time, so they're now on what will be the freshest tires in the field.
They are. So Matt Taylor, first car into the pit lane. He's going to line up 10th. Hollabaugh, Craig, Bruteau, Edwards, Paz, Clinworth, Zier, and Lichtenberg are your stoppers. Caleb Brashear still under repair. 9 minutes. Indy Kirchenbauer is now into his second minute of repair. Here is the lap since last pit, and there you see it on the screen. Front 9 out 15 laps. Adam Blocker back to the lead. Alexander Russell second. Malechka third. Brophy fourth. Power Slide 1, 2, 3, 4. Ty Keela for Rogue Racing is fifth. Anna Klimek I5G is sixth. Jarrett Corey, Ryan Campbell, Rogue Racing 7th and 8th. Andrew Marquez, Team I5G 9th. And I5G rounds out your top 10 with Matt Taylor. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, joining in the fun. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you too can get in on all of the iRacing action here on P1. It's full dance card this week. We've got the Indy Next Road Top Split coming up next. Tomorrow night it's a triple header starting at 8:15 with the Indy Oval Top Split. You're going to have the Indy Next Oval Top Split in the middle, and then Area 51 at the after dark. You've got Horizon at 8 and the Formula Indy Series at 8:20 on Wednesday. AMA Stock Cars Grand National Thursday night. Trucks on Friday night. 8:35 is the start time of those. 8:20 for the pre-race. It's an action-packed week here on P1. Don't miss any of it. Adam Blocker didn't miss the green flag. He started immediately. He immediately bolted from that front spot, and Jarrett Corey continues to impress on that high line. He's going after Anna Klimek for what would be the 6th spot.
Hey, he's put up some stout performances at this track before, if I recall correctly. He's going to look to the inside on Klimek into 3 and 4 here. Fairly convincing. Ooh. Maybe a bit nervous in the center of the corner there. Is going to lose out on that. He's going to have his teammate Brian Campbell right behind him now. Corked in the bottle now. Campbell looks to the inside. They've got Andrew Marquez right behind them. So a very close battle for the final couple positions inside the top 10 here as Matt Taylor is going to linger even just behind them.
It is, and those drivers want to get going because fresh tires in the form of Taylor, Hollabaugh, Craig, Bruteau, Edwards, and Clinworth are lined up to take their spots. Chris Demerit said forgot to turn in. I don't know. I don't necessarily know forgot to turn in. Maybe a little bit of that and a little bit of not clear. I'm probably more on the not clear than forgot to turn in, but for whatever it was, Indy Kirchenbauer on the hook. Kyle Clinworth had to get a new nose. He was on pit lane 13.3 seconds. And Anna Klimek is going to come off best in her battle with Jarrett Corey for that 6th spot. And the question becomes, how racy do the Matts and Rashad Craig want to get behind him as there's action deeper in the field with Alan Berteau, Kyle Clinworth, and others?
Well, I think if we've seen anything so far tonight is if those guys can extend this run and catch a yellow at the right place at the right time, they might be in that catbird seat. You know, Matt Taylor's the front of that group all the way back to Brendan Lichtenberg in the 18th spot there. It's kind of the back half of the field's playing one strategy, front half on the other. Just going to have to wait and see how that coins out. The yellows tend to be the deciding factor oftentimes when we have a split strategy like this.
The difference, Jacob, is 15 laps. Roughly what the back 10 can do over the front 10, and I'm sure, judging from the pace that Taylor, Hollybach, Craig, they're saving their fuel. I tell you, a guy that's not saving a doggone thing, that's Kyle Clinworth, as he works to the inside of Alan Berteau.
And that battle ongoing for 13th. Berteau has it. Clenworth wants it. Ooh, bit of a bobble on the exit of 2 for Clenworth.
He did, and that's going to drop Clindy about half a second behind, and he'll fall into the clutches of the likes of Logan Edwards, Ricky Paz, and others, as they're all on that same strategy. The tires have not yet passed Andrew Marquez, though, as we work toward lap 54 of 150. Your leader is this man, Adam Blocker. He, Alexander Russell, Robert Malechka. There you see Russell in the background, and there he is, the early leader. There's Malechka in third. They have set sail, Mr. Collins. Those 3 power slide cars, I don't want to say in a league of their own, but they're certainly the class of the field through the first third of 150 laps here at Milwaukee.
Well, you could definitely assert your position fairly handedly at the front here with just how good clean air is around a track like this. You know, we've seen drivers in the deeper parts of the field here have to navigate multiple different lanes, work across lanes. You know, they're making crossovers pretty much every other corner, trying to find the speedy line on the exits, if you will, to make passes here. So these guys that haven't had to do as much of that are starting to just take the laps and click them off faster than anybody else out here.
You know, I've noticed the cars that tend to be more committed, as we go back to Berteau and Clinworth, the cars that tend to be more committed to the top line are those Alliance cars. That would be the Rogue entries that you see in the powder blue, plus Jarrett Corey, the IR entry of Rashad Craig, as Clinworth dives the inside of Alan Berteau, and he'll have the 13th spot and now begins to track down Rashad Craig. Those are the cars that, along with the satellite racing entry of Matt Hollybaugh, those cars seem to be the ones that are wanting to work the high line. Everybody else tends to be fairly committed to either the bottom or the middle lane. The only car that we saw up high, not on that Alliance crew, that would have been our good friend Caleb Brashear.
Now we're starting to see glimpses out of more of those i5G machines as well, looking towards the high line. I've been watching a bit of Andrew Marquez here the last couple laps. He seems to be one that's willing to at least stay up further on the exits than some of the other cars in and around him. So he's maybe taking advantage of those upper lanes just a little bit more here as this run progresses, especially through 3 and 4.
You know, he is, and there's a couple of reasons you would do that. The first is there's clean air up there. We'll jump on board Andrew Marquez. There's clean air up there for one thing, but the other is as the run wears on here at Milwaukee, the car tends to get a little bit loose coming off the corners. It tends to get a little free, especially off of turn 2 over here. If you run the higher line, if you run a higher entry in the late apex, you get the wheel straighter a little bit more straight, a little bit quicker, and that can help that loose condition. You see Marquez, he's really pedaling that number 9 car from the 9th spot.
And that's kind of what you have to do around here, just given that the walls flatten out very quickly. You know, the straights there isn't a D shape anywhere around the premises here of Milwaukee. So you've got to really you got to commit when you get onto either pedal here. You got to know when to let out and stay committed to letting out, and know when to get on and get committed to getting on that throttle pedal, especially because it's so easy to get wrong and head into the outside wall quicker than you think.
Yeah, they are very abrupt. The walls here, we'll jump on board Kyle Clinworth. The walls here kind of remind me of a Richmond-esque type deal. They're very abrupt at exit, and if you're not careful, you will slip and slide and slam yourself into that outside wall, especially on corner exit, so you want to take it easy. But my goodness, you saw Matt Taylor. He's sliding his car around up in front of Clindy. You think these guys aren't working hard? Let's jump on board Matt Taylor.
And you could tell, especially off the exit of 3 and 4 here, how much that front of that car really wants to grip up as you transition from kind of the darker asphalt on the inside and off, kind of in either direction, getting both on and off of it. You can see how much the car kind of unsettles or unloads coming through the corner there. So it's just, that's also kind of something I heard a lot of drivers in practice were talking about, how their cars were unloading very erratically on the exits of the corners here. And it's just one of those things you got to keep account of each and every lap here.
You do. That's Matt Taylor to the outside. Kyle Clinworth making his bid to get into the top 10. The tires have still not caught Andrew Marquez in 9th, so the strategies remain separate. The front runners, well, I don't want to get away from this battle because Clinworth is working hard to try to get through Matt Taylor. He can't quite do it. The front runners remain Adam Blocker. He staked himself to a 1.3 second lead over Alexander Russell. There's Russell. Those two, they're in their own zip code. It's another 3.5 seconds back to Robert MilewauKee. There's a little bit of space, a little bit less than a second to Jason Brophy. Same to Ty Keela in the 5th spot. Anna Klimek, same to her in 6th. And then Brian Campbell has moved his way up into 7th. Campbell's about half a second behind Klimek. Jarrett Corey, there he is in 8th. He's been working the high side the whole race. Andrew Marquez is 9th, and I bet, judging from that car, he looks like he might be thinking about getting some tires. That'll give it to Matt Taylor, back first car on tires in 10th. Remember, the differential is 15 laps. The debate rages over the incident between Kirchenbauer and Clinworth in the chat. If you want to have your say, by all means, put it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Chris Demerit thinks maybe Clindy wasn't clear. I'm of the opinion, Mr. Collins, that maybe it was kind of a racing deal. They were both kind of not clear. I'm sure you have an opinion. But anybody else with an opinion, put it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you as we watch Matt Taylor continue to be the first car on tires, is circulating behind teammate Andrew Marquez. I gotta think, Jacob, we're looking on Brian Campbell and Anna Klimek, and we're looking on Anna here. I gotta think that's a great idea, Shane. We'll put it to a poll. I gotta think that the guys that stopped under that last caution are almost saving fuel here, is what it looks like. They should have been able to make quick work at least to the back half of that top 10 that stayed out.
Well, I think a lot of this, too, is the pace equals off here pretty much almost instantaneously. There's not a super lengthy amount of time where you're going to see old tires versus new tires have a huge benefit. Obviously, we're seeing cars at the front lap significantly faster than those even on slightly fresher tires further back. You look at a Blocker and a Russell last time by running 22.1s. You get back to the likes of Matt Taylor, Kyle Clinworth, they're maybe running a 22.2. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but a 10th's a 10th, and a 10th adds up when you're doing 150 laps around here very, very quickly.
All right. Per the request to Shane Coker, we're gonna put it into a poll. Is it Clindy, is it Indy, or is it just a racing incident? Make your voices heard in the chat, as we are now halfway, Mr. Collins, through 150 laps here at Milwaukee.
Oh, 3 wide, off into 1. Taylor, Marquez, and company.
Yeah, Clinworth's going to come off the best of that. He went from 11th to 9th, and, well, the good news is Matt Taylor fights back on Clindy. The good news is we have the Wayback Machine, so there we go. A little bit of a bobble from Matt Taylor coming off of turn 4. 3 wide they went. Clindy got the bottom. Marquez on the top. Meeting the sandwich is Matt Taylor. He'll give best, but he is fighting back on Clinworth, or fought back for a minute. JT Smeaton says that ketchup is better than mustard. It depends on what kind of mustard, Mr. Smeaton. Depends on the mustard. And it depends on what you're putting it on.
Well, all the while we're discussing mustard, Soup Man is looking to make a pass for the 6th spot on the deer. He's looking high through 3 and 4, gets a good bound of momentum down the front stretch here. Don't think he's going to be able to make it stick, but he's going for it anyway in 1 and 2. Down low, off the corner. They'll be side by side down the back straightaway for a moment. He'll tuck back into line and try to bind it up once again through 3 and 4.
It almost seems to me like that Alliance setup almost wants to be on the high side, Jacob. It doesn't really want to be low. You saw Soup, Ryan Campbell there. He draws even one more time on the bottom, but he just can't get off the corner. The car just does not want to stick on exit. And there you go. See, Mr. Collins, CDM has spoken. It depends on what you're putting the mustard on, my friend.
I know I'm not putting mustard on Soup, and Soup Man's trying to make a pass. Might be some venison in play here at some point.
Touche.
That might be something you put mustard on. Not that we want to slaughter deer, although it is a common practice in the state in which we find ourselves here on iRacing.
I was going to say, Jacob, did you know, and I'm sure you know this, the 5th largest army in the world is Wisconsin during deer season? Did you know that?
Is that a quotable statistic? Can I find that somewhere, Mark, or is that just personal testimony?
It is. I have never been hunting in Wisconsin.
Ooh,
Brian Campbell goes on the wall. Yeah, I've never been hunting in Wisconsin. That would require traveling through Illinois, as Rashad Craig now goes to make the move on Andrew Marquez. That would require transporting firearms through the state of Illinois, which is not friendly to such activity.
No, it is not. I actually learned while at the state fair this year that it actually wasn't known as the Milwaukee Mile until the mid-'90s, at least officially anyway.
Yeah, it was just State Fair Park, right?
Yeah, it was I think it was just the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds racetrack was what they called it before that.
You know, and that's fair. It is on the fairgrounds. Matter of fact, one of the unique features of this track is that it is of course on the side of the Milwaukee State Fairs. Rashad Craig is going to get around Andrew Marquez and move into that 11th spot. Marquez is going to fight back on the inside. The front straightaway has the State Fair buildings immediately adjacent to it. If you had that set up at Indianapolis along Georgetown Road, you could print money, Mr. Collins. It is a very unique setup. You got the beer gardens out there, all of them manned, people eating and drinking and having a good time before, during, and after the race at the Milwaukee Mile. It's quite a unique atmosphere.
There's certainly not too many places like it that I can certainly think of. I mean, if you look off, even in here on the sim, you can see the likes of the Fair Coliseum where they do the likes of horse shows and other things. And then you got the Speedway here that they tend to use as a parking lot for the State Fair. That's probably what most people know it for. And of course, I believe it was last year they had quite a record amount of rainfall come through here, and they basically washed out pretty much anybody who was parked down in turns 1 and 2. As many came to find out, the track runs at the end of what used to be a creek, Mark, so it was not very good for water drainage to have turns 1 and 2 located where they are here in the present day.
Alan Berteau makes the move on Matt Hollyby. He'll go to the 13th spot. It is Adam Blocker at the front on cruise control, and he has now started to catch the back end of this field. Brendan Lichtenberg has gone a lap down. That's the Hyperstar behind Adam Blocker in the 18th spot. Blocker is now closing in on Lilac Zier and Logan Edwards. They're doing battle. They're doing battle for the 16th spot. They're just dead ahead. And that's not what Adam Blocker necessarily wants to see. That's going to slow his pace up. It's going to put him back in the clutches of Alexander Russell. And as it does, Jacob, so many times a race here at Milwaukee can come down to who can manage lap traffic.
Certainly not an atypical sight in the slightest. to have lap traffic play a factor at pretty much any speedway in Wisconsin, to be fair. This track isn't actually that too far away from the likes of Slinger, a quarter mile in, well, Slinger, Wisconsin.
Yeah, you've got several paved ovals not too far. You've got one in Eau Claire. There's, of course, the Wisconsin Dells. As I'm given to understand it, they used to race every night. Brian Campbell, black flag, too fast, entering pit lane. And that's going to put paid to Soup as he spun it backwards down a pit road.
He's giving it the Kyle Busch special, trying to drive that IR18 in reverse. He's going to flick it into a pit stall. I'm not sure which pit stall he's gotten into there, but
great work avoiding on a Klimek, and there you see the entry. Campbell turns it around, and he'll back his entry into the pit lane. But pit stops have now started. Alexander Russell has completed his service. Ty Keela on pit lane. So to Logan Edwards as we continue to watch Adam Blocker, Robert Milewski lead this thing. When are they going to make their pit stops? Here comes Blocker.
He'll be the first to bite. Rob's going to stay out another one here.
Brophy
comes down.
Brophy in the pit lane. So now this is going to cycle those cars that stopped under the last caution to the front. And they're going to have, as we see Adam Blocker complete his service, they're going to have at least 15 laps, Jacob, where they don't have to stop. Down and away goes Adam Blocker. There's Milewski in the pit lane. And that is going to cycle the lead to Kyle Clinworth. And there he is. He's going to come around Robert Milewski. Critically, he did not put Adam Blocker a lap down. So Blocker, Russell, Brophy were all able to affect service, Jacob, and they did not go a lap down. How about that?
They're going to stay on the lead lap here, if only just. Brophy's just a couple seconds ahead of Kyle Clinworth here. Obviously, that gap's not expected to dwindle in the window until Clinworth has to come down the pit lane himself. However, that is worth at least keeping an eye on, as things can come at you quick here, and it may just take wrong place, wrong time for any of these cars to put another one and two of these cars ahead of Clinworth a lap down themselves.
Yeah, they are. Paul Scory checking in, cheering on her boy. Clindy leads it. He is on an alternate strategy, still yet to stop, and he's got, Jacob, probably anywhere between 5 to 10 laps left in the tank. The petrol beginning to run a little bit short for Clindy. Matt Taylor runs in second. That is Ty Keela between him. There's Taylor, some 2 seconds behind Clinworth. Jarrett Corey not involved in this fight. He is 13th, 1 lap down. Second car, 1 lap down. Rashad Craig is currently 3rd. There he is. Alan Berteau for Nexus runs long in 4th. And Ricky Paz hangs on to the top 5. There he is in 5th. And so now we await the pit stops for Clinworth and company and see where it all shakes out.
10 cars currently on the lead lap, the first 7 of which have yet to take pit service. So that'll be kind of the matter of when, not if, for those machines at the front. The big thing at that point will be, where do they cycle out, and are they going to be able to take advantage of maybe pitting their last stop early here? Relative to what it could be.
Just waiting on the pit stop game here for Kyle Clinworth. We saw Adam Blocker and company go about 65 laps. Don't know if Clinworth, Taylor, and company are going to be able to go that long. Clindy is going to come to the pit lane this time. That'll put Matt Taylor into the lead for Team I5G. There he is. The debate, Jacob, in the chat over ketchup and mustard and mayo continues. Matt Pileski checks in. Good to see Matt, by the way. Haven't talked to him in a good while. Says in South Carolina there's burger joints that only use mustard and mayonnaise, and that sounds That sounds like a pretty good sandwich to me as Kyle Clinworth comes off. He's going to go a lap down to Matt Taylor. Critically, there are only now 11 cars on the lead lap as Ty Keela puts himself back on the lead lap, and Matt Taylor comes into pit lane. So too does Ricky Paz. Turn over the lead to Rashad Craig.
Yeah, so it's just Brito and Craig left to come down. Lilac Zier could be the third amongst them, and then anybody else is either coming down or has come down the pit lane here for the final time, I would presume. Obviously, a yellow could change a lot of things, or maybe cars deeper in the field that would throw on another set of tires if they've got them. Maybe make something happen there, but freshest tires in the field of the front runners would be Milewaukeee, currently starting their 10th lap on those sets of Firestones. They've worked their way up to 4th, just behind Adam Blocker, about a second and a half adrift.
Yes, he does. Rashad Craig. He's got Lilac Zier in second. Lilac, though, 6.5 seconds behind the IR machine as Clindy is going to go by and unlap himself from the IR campaigner. And I think Rashad is going to take to the pit lane. No, he's going to stay out one more time. Rashad Craig, Lilac Zier, they're gambling on a yellow. Although at this point, Jacob, Rashad is essentially 0.4 of a second off the pace to Blocker and Milewaukeee. I don't know that a yellow would save him, and here he comes to the pit lane. He'll be one of the last to stop. That will leave Lilac Zier out, although Zier is going to come into the pit lane as well, and that'll cycle this man, Adam Blocker, back to the front as he sneaks around Ricky Paz. There are 2 lap cars between himself and teammate Robert Milewaukeee. For the second spot, Alexander Russell has cycled back to third, but critically, Jacob, that lead of Blocker, which was once over 2 seconds, has now been halved. It's barely over 1.
Well, that's the thing with lap traffic, too, right? You catch it at the right place, the right time, and you can work through it just that little bit quicker. That's what we're seeing out of Milewaukeee. Broke down about a half second there. He's inside 1 now as he enters turns 1 and 2. He's going to lose a little bit of that through the center of the corner here. So I believe that's going to be the 16 machine of Lilac Zier rejoining the field right behind him. And right behind Milewaukeee here working the outside of Zier is Alexander Russell. They've started to work their way forward through the traffic now.
They have indeed. Jason Brophy runs along in the 4th spot. He's about nearly 4 seconds adrift of Russell. And so the fight is really between Russell, Milewaukeee, and Blocker at the top. The teammates will decide it. Nobody else really is very close. Matt Taylor and Kyle Clinworth still going at it. Taylor is going to take 8th off of Clindy and move him back to 9th as Clinworth continues to rip the high side, and he is sans a front wing.
Wondering if maybe there was some contact made on the... No, he's missing that off the exit of 2, so that came a while ago for Clinworth.
Here we go. This is the last segment that he had the front wing into the wall, into the attenuator of the deer, and there goes the front wing for Kyle Clinworth, and that is not going to work out for Clindy. He's going to try to stick it out, I think, for a little bit, just to hope maybe he gets a caution, but that's not going to work, Mr. Collins.
No, it's a tough break, kind of dragging the car off the wall, and it's tough because you get your car kind of stuck in the walls here, and then trying to pull it down, you pull it down just a little too far over and wind up into the rear tire of another car ahead of you. It's not really much to be done sometimes in those situations, as Clinworth's going to have to continue to struggle without the left front of that wing for him, as Adam Blocker looms in the distance behind him.
Yeah, here's Blocker, and he's got Matt Hollybaugh immediately behind him. Hollybaugh 12th, 1 lap down. The red and white car of Robert Milewaukeee, that's 2nd place. That's the 3rd car in line. And here's Blocker. He's going to try to get around Clinworth. He's going to catch him in a pretty decent spot, though, Jacob, down the backstretch, so he should be able to make this move. Going in turn 3, Clindy will stay high. And there goes Adam Blocker.
He's just nursing that car on the outside lane, trying to let everybody on through that he can.
Yes, he can. So the day has gone from okay to forgettable for Kyle Clinworth. Here goes Robert Molesca through. Going to try to get Matt Hollybaugh through there as well. That's Hollybaugh with the green wheels. Look like Hollybaugh chose wrong there, and that's going to let Andrew Marquez get in a position for a fight for position, Jacob.
Marquez will make his way on through. Then you've got, I believe that's going to be Russell behind him. And then Ricky Paz, he's worked his way into this picture as well. He might be able to pick up some spots here working through the traffic behind Russell on the low side.
Yeah, here's Ricky Paz. Now, he was among the latest to stop of the drivers that are on the alternate strategy. He's a lap down. He's in 13th, but he's right in that fight with Marquez and Hollybaugh. Speaking of fights, Rashad Craig had been working over Alan Berteau, two former series champs going at it. Alan Berteau, though, has started to separate himself just a little bit as we work down to 30 laps to go. Here at the Milwaukee Mile, it's Adam Blocker, your leader, over Robert Molechka. That's the gap, about a second and a half, and that's what that looks like. Alexander Russell, Jason Brophy making an all-power slide top four. Ty Keela, Jarrett Corey, Anna Klimek, Matt Taylor, Rashad Craig, and Alan Berteau. Round out your top 10 as Rashad Craig has gotten past Alan Berteau now.
Craig and Berteau, the last two cars that remain on the lead lap here. Berteau about 18 seconds adrift of the leaders. Going to take a while for the likes of Blocker and Molechka to catch up to them, but they essentially have clear track ahead of them. So if there's going to be a good opportunity for them to make up a bunch of time, now is the time.
It is, and that's Matt Taylor. That would be for position for Rashad Craig. We'll jump up on the roll hoop of Rashad Craig. That's Matt Taylor ahead. That would be a position. All of these cars, Taylor, Craig, and Berteau, are on the lead lap. They are the last three on the lead lap as Adam Blocker has lapped up to 11th spot, and we'll join the onboard for Adam Blocker, still lapping about 22 flat. That's the battle for position we were just talking about ahead on the course. They're about 3 seconds up the road from Adam Blocker.
Can come back to you pretty quickly around here, as we were talking earlier. At least the last couple times around, Blocker and Molechka multiple tenths faster than these cars on the tail end of the lead lap, almost half a second faster than Alan Berteau that last time through. So wouldn't be entirely surprising to see them catch up the back half of the top 10 here and start having to put them a lap down before this one closes out, Mark.
You know, that's a great question. Chris DeMeritt wants to know who's bringing the Spotted Cow to Schaumburg in September, the Sim Gaming Expo, of course, September 18th through 20th. You can see myself, Jacob Collins, Chris DeMeritt, Caleb Brashear, Kyle Clinworth, among others, race in person. Brian Campbell is going to be in that race, in that competition. Racing in the stadium. Go to simgamingexpo.com. Get your tickets. You can see all of us live. They even get to see me road race, Jacob, and that's always a treat.
I don't know if you know how to turn your normal road car turn signal that direction, Mark.
It's not a BMW, Jacob. So I do have working blinkers.
I actually learned something interesting, that the BMW blinkers work inverse on some of their models.
But that's only if you fill them up with blinker fluid, correct?
Potentially.
Indeed. The Hyperstar, of course, he'll be there. So get your tickets. That's going to be a fun time. We might even be meeting up for refreshments with our friends in the community. Maybe. Brashear and I are going to be there, so I'm fairly certain there will be refreshments, correct?
Well, there's certainly going to be a couple.
At least two. You can meet the wonderful Miss Natalie and ask her what exactly possessed her to sign up for a lifetime of fun with me. And Ricky Paz, he signed up for a lifetime of fun off the back of Andrew Marquez to see if he can't make the move. Paz working the high side. Marquez in the middle lane.
Ricky looks low down the backstretch. They're side by side.
Pa's working hard to make that work. You see one of the rogue entries coming off a pit lane. That's going to be Kyle Clinworth. He's finally decided to get a new front wing, and so he'll slot in 17th, 3 laps down. But don't look now, Jacob Collins. We got battle for the lead.
That we do. Malechka's closed in handedly towards the end here. He's been clicking off about a 3/4 of a tenth a lap faster these last dozen or so laps. That's put him right in prime real estate with about a little over 15 to go here.
Yes, he is, and this is the thing with working lap traffic. He's caught Adam Blocker has caught Alan Berteau, and Berteau is running in the 10th spot. That's not exactly a rolling chicane going in front of Adam Blocker. It's throwing the dirty air, and that's allowed Robert Milewska to get right to the back door of his fellow pro. We'll see if Milewska can make the move on the Power Slide Team Hype machine in front of him.
That'll be the battle to watch. It's inside about 0.3 of a second as they exit turn 2 here. They're going to have 17 machine of Berteau. Here comes Blocker to the inside. Malechka's going to attempt to join as they head off turn number 4.
Very sportsmanlike move from Alan Berteau to get out of the way of the battle for the lead as Adam Blocker continues to click him down. 15 laps to go here in Milwaukee. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, joining in the fun. Great crowd on hand, great active chat. Love to see it. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so you can get in on all of the iRacing action. We've got a dandy of a battle brewing between Adam Blocker and Robert Milewska here at the front. Alexander Russell holds down third, and he's got 5 seconds in hand over teammate Jason Brophy in fourth. Ty Keela is the top non-power slide runner in fifth. Corey, Klimek, Taylor, Craig, and Berteau round out your top 10. Berteau has gone a lap down, and so that leaves Rashad Craig, who is not too far up the road from Adam Blocker, as the last car on the lead lap in ninth.
Yeah, you see Craig about the middle of the backstretch as Blocker gets onto the backstretch here. It's not too much distance between those two machines as Milewska starting to slip away just a little bit behind his teammate of Adam Blocker at the point here. Gap a little over half a second as we work on to lap 139 of 150. It's
about 2 seconds up the road to Rashad Craig. They're going to be in the dirty air envelope here any minute, and that's going to let Robert Milewska close right back up on Adam Blocker for one final fight to the finish. Last time through, Blocker 21,994. Rashad Craig 22,226. So just a little over 0.2 of a second is the difference in pace between Craig and Blocker. They are going to catch him. It's just a matter of how long does it take him, and does that allow Robert Milewska a chance to sneak past his teammate and take the win here?
And all the while here, Ricky Paz has been trying his darndest to pass Andrew Marquez. He's been shooting the apron in 1 and 2.
Well,
properly on the apron.
They got Clinworth up there on fresh tires and a fresh front wing, and Paz all the way down to the pit lane, all the way down to the pit warm-up lane to make that move.
See a frantic group of Pet Shower players, blue and white schemes working the high side here all around this battle for what is the 13th spot, or sorry, the 12th spot, as Lilac Zier is for position in that players scheme ahead of Marquez now.
Yeah, the tires, we saw the tires go off on Andrew Marquez pretty badly in the first run, the first long run, and they've done the same here. To the inside came Lilac Zier. The car behind Ryan Campbell is not for position. But I'll tell you what is for position. We got to get back to this. Robert Milewski's there. He's only 3 or 4 car lengths behind Adam Blocker now for the lead, and they are firmly within the dirty air of Rashad Craig, who is the final car on the lead lap, and Rashad would love to finish on the lead lap here in 9th.
Well, he's also fighting Matt Taylor for the 8th spot here. You know, they've got a battle for position here. You've got the Hyperstar, Brendan Lichtenberg, to their inside ahead now as they head down towards 3 and 4. That'll throw at least a little bit of a wrench in the situation for these guys here, but they're going to head off turn 4 here, work on to lap 145. Blocker and Milewski on 146, and Milewski's there. He's made it work. Is he going to be able to find a way around, though, especially with these lap cars up ahead now?
Ton of traffic, and critically for Milewski and Blocker, none of that traffic is a teammate. There are no friends there. As Milewski tries to cross over, he's going to get under Adam Blocker, coming down the front straight with 4 laps to go.
The bottom nice and even here. They'll stay side by side off turn number 2, fully alongside down the back straightaway. Blocker gets the draft from Hyperstar ahead. They'll stay side by side into 3 and 4.
Milewski inches ahead through the apex of turn 3 and 4, nearly clears him. Brendan Lichtenberg going to get out of the way. Milewski led that lap by about a third of a car over Adam Blocker. Less than 3 laps to go. They'll get 2 to go this time by, and they're still even Steven here.
I don't think the lap traffic's going to be much of a factor at this rate with how hard they're fighting side by side both ends of the speedway here. Milewski will lead 148. They work on to 149. 2 to go. Popsicle sticks in the air from the speedway.
They are indeed. Milewski had improved his advantage by about a foot the last time through, but now Adam Blocker almost clear of Robert Milewski, can't quite do it. Milewski is going to pull back even as they head down toward the start-finish line. White flag is in the air. Adam Blocker now half the car ahead of Robert Milewski, and we're about to get a photo finish. Warm up the cameras. Here they come down the backstretch, still side by side. Blocker on the outside, Milewski on the inside. Here they go through turns 3 and 4 one final time. Can Robert Milewski steal it at the end? He's going to come off at turn number 4 just that far ahead, and it's Robert Milewski by the width of the front wing over Adam Blocker. Alexander Russell will come home third.
8 thousandths of a second, Mr. Murphy.
That's close. That is doggone close, and the win goes to the king of everything, Robert Milewski. So he'll bring it down the front straight away. And what sort of post-race shenanigans do we have in store from RM3? All right, he's got Russell and Brophy back there. Let's see what Rob's going to do. I'm just going to get a park it on the start-finish line. We're going to park it on the start-finish line. There's your winner, Robert Milewski III. And you're right, Casey. That was an absolutely epic finish. You can't do it any better than that. By 8 thousandths of a second, Robert Milewski III wins over Adam Blocker. Alexander Russell makes it a clean sweep for Power Slide in the top 3, and it's a Power Slide quartet for the top 4. Jason Brophy, some 8.975 seconds in arrears. Ty Keela, he'll get best in show in 5th. Jarrett Corey, Anna Klimek, Matt Taylor, Rashad Craig, and Alan Berteau round out your top 10. Everybody from 10th on back, a lap down. Matt Hollybaugh, Ricky Paz, Lilac Zier, Andrew Marquez, and Logan Edwards, 1 lap down. 2 laps down, Brendan Lichtenberg, then Kyle Clinworth. Brian Campbell, 3 laps down. Soup, speeding ticket, the spin on pit road didn't do him any favors. Indy Kirchenbauer out of the race. Caleb Brashear out of the race. And hopefully the Minecraft villagers have not been sacrificed too badly this evening. We'll get some replays queued up, and we'll bring in the podium. All right, Mr. Collins. There's Alexander Russell's power slide machine. He finishes in the third spot today, and we will await the podium. They've got to be tired, Jacob. That's for certain sure.
Definitely a very physical track around here. That's for one thing.
It is. You don't think of sim racing or gaming in general being physical, but this track is among the more difficult, just because if you're running a high fidelity direct drive wheel, brother, your arms are going to get tired at a flat track like this. We are going to bring in the power slide trio, all three of them. There's Blocker, there's Russell, and Robert MILWAUKEE III, the trio with the podium. Gentlemen, congratulations on the podium, on sweeping the podium. Got the first question for Alexander Russell. You led early. What transpired to get Adam past you at the end of the first stretch there?
I mean, I was trying different lanes, just seeing kind of what was available. Of course, that'd be beneficial later in the race, maybe catching lap traffic. But I ran a lane, it wasn't good. Adam got to my inside, and then I didn't want to race him too hard because we're teammates and we're still really early in the race. So a give and take early, and it didn't really go my way at the end of the day, but.
Sometimes it be like that. I'll pose the same question to Adam Blocker. So you take the lead from Alexander Russell, you run away and hide, and then how did Rob reel you in?
I'm assuming when we check our tires, he's going to have more tire left, because I was killing my tires more every stint, but I just couldn't figure out how to back up the corner and like keep lap time while saving my tires. So I think I would have been fine if I didn't catch those lap cars. But once we caught those guys, and then I made like a couple little mistakes. Once they get into like 0.3, 0.2, then they can have a shot. And so obviously Rob had a shot, and then I think I made a mistake in the 3. I overdrove it. And, I've never been side by side at Milwaukee for 5 laps in a row, so that was insane. We were not cutting each other any breaks either. So.
And so finally, we arrive at the winner, Robert MILWAKEE III. You take a 55-52 SOF at the end from Adam Blocker. What was that battle like? Were you guys having any problem with traffic? The dirty air playing up for you guys, or was it a straight fight?
I mean, I think if Adam's in clean air, I probably don't get there because I just lap time wise, I don't have much of a buffer, I guess, on him. But yeah, I mean, we got traffic there a little bit, at least enough to kind of show how much understeer he had compared to me, and yeah, I was able to say my hybrid to get a full pull there, I think off of 2 with 5 to go, get to his outside, and then kind of cross him over with get a big regen as well. So, and then from there on out, we were just side by side, and I kind of expected it for a lap or two, but then kind of with 3 to go, I started laughing pretty good because like it was pretty obvious to me that we were not going to give each other much room, and I don't think we were going to stop being side by side. So, yeah, it was a fun battle with Adam there, and hopefully we put on a good show.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to add, like, there's not many drivers on the service that I don't think I would have raced that close with that much confidence that we weren't going to crash. So, like,
we did hit into 3 one time, and I really thought we were crashing each other, but it was really fun.
Yeah, I almost cleared him into 3 on 2 to go, and I decided I did as much hybrid as I could, and I tried to get clear because I knew if it got clear there, that was over because he was going to have dirty air. And then, yeah, I realized once I got close to the apex, I wasn't going to be clear, and so I gave him exactly a lane, and we 0x. So, yeah.
No, I mean it was a fantastic race to watch from both of you. I'll let my colleague Jacob Collins chime in. Mr. Collins, what do you have for the Power Slide teammates 1, 2, 3 this evening?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this race kind of came down to some mixed strategy. You guys seem to be committed to long runs throughout the evening. Came down probably amongst the earliest of the people that did their final stops. Kind of talk us through maybe the strategy of trying to run that long, knowing that there is potential for maybe a late yellow to shake things up, especially if the bulk of the field winds up a lap down here and there.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully that we seems like we have a pretty good pace advantage here. This is usually one of our stronger tracks. And we kind of knew I guess that first caution, right? We knew that we could make it from there with not a crazy fuel save at all, but you would have to save a little bit. And I think that stint we all kind of took different strategies where Adam and Alex kind of pushed a bit, where I kind of sat back and saved my stuff. And then you kind of saw in the last 10 laps of that run where we all kind of came back together again. So, then that last stint there, kind of we saw kind of at least from my side, I guess my raw pace and being able to take care of my tires, which I honestly don't really know what I do to do that, but I always seem to have a little bit more percentage than everyone else. So, yeah, I mean, it helps when, you have a pace advantage, but, you're after we get that first yellow, we knew it was from there on out, it was going to be a guaranteed one stop. So it made our life pretty easy.
Yeah, the other thing that helps at Milwaukee is that if you only lose like a lap and a little bit. So like the first car that pitted on that second yellow, the lap 40 yellow, was like restarting P10. So I was pretty confident that we were all going to be well clear of that gap by the time we had to pit. And so we wouldn't actually have any lap down exposure. So yeah, that always helps. And then, yeah, like Rob said, I mean, we finished 15 seconds clear of the next team. So, I mean, that says a lot. So
It does. You guys actually did not lose a lap when you pitted under green. You three did not. I cannot recall if Jason lost a lap, but everybody else did. So that's a huge compliment to your pace. We'll start the shout outs with Mr. Russell. Alex, you get on the podium,
Well,
you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I guess I have to say a big thanks to Powerside. We worked hard on the setup. Besides that, it's home race kind of thing. I wanted to do really well, got the pole. Super happy for that. And then Adam and Rob for all the help they did with the race. I was really off, but I was able to kind of keep my pace up to big speed with that.
Most certainly so. How about it, Adam?
yeah, I mean, thanks. Well, want to thank everybody for coming out. I don't know. This is up there for highest open SOF ever. It's probably not the highest, but it's definitely like I think in the top 5, which is pretty insane for Milwaukee. And yeah, I just want to thank y'all for supporting the series, and thank everybody at Powerslide for the great race. And, yeah, Rob, congrats to Rob on the win.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the highest, but it's I'd have to go back and check. Anything over 5,000 goes in a special playlist on the channel, so I'd have to go back and check. But if it's not the highest, I think we might have an Indy round that might be close to 6. But other than that, it's got to be one of the highest in recent memory. Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks to you guys for always broadcasting. Take the time out of your day to do this for the community. Thank my personal sponsors, Tommy Moner and Ty Stover. And then also P1 Docs, which I think this week is a pretty good setup because I'm pretty sure it's within probably long run. It's within probably 5 seconds of us. So, yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, Rob. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for stopping by. Keep going fast and having fun, all of you.
Yeah, and take care.
Yes, sir. That's Robert MilewauKee. He'll win tonight at Milwaukee. And Mr. Collins, we had 140 laps of domination and 10 laps of pure excitement tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for much closer a finish than that here this evening. Obviously, the lap traffic played the factor we were kind of expecting it to, especially as things started to develop late in the going there. But that's just kind of the nature of these shorter ovals, especially by IndyCar standards, is you're going to get traffic playing a factor, and then eventually the cars get close enough together that they have to sort it out amongst themselves, Mark.
They do. And if you want to continue the fun, the Indy Next Road Series is up next, 10 o'clock, the Daytona Road Course at night, Mr. Collins. You've been thinking about that for a while. That's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard right here on P1 tomorrow night. triple header starts with the INDYCAR Oval Series, Tuesday night top split, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. We're right back here at the Milwaukee Mile. The Indy Next Oval Series makes it a double at 9:30 Eastern at Milwaukee, and then Area 51 After Dark continues the mile theme. They're going to go to the good version of Phoenix, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, the Horizon INDYCAR Series does Road America at 8 o'clock. Join Say Hey Lewis Hayes and I for that. The Formula Indy Series is at Detroit Belle Isle, 8:20 Eastern. Thursday, the Elite Racing League P1 INDYCAR Championship simulcast will be at Chicagoland at 7:45, and you can catch the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series from Daytona at 8:20 Thursday. No truck race this Friday. Saturday, it's the 2026 INDYCAR iRacing Series presented by 40 Racewear at 4 o'clock on Friday. No race Saturday. Sunday, the Vote of Indy Oval Series goes to the old layout at Atlanta at 8 o'clock Sunday night. And that brings us right back here for the series finale. The INDYCAR Open Series Monday night top split, 8 o'clock next week. Round 12 from Laguna Seca. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, joining in the fun. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, support the channel. We do so very much appreciate it. Want to thank all the drivers on the track. 55-52 at SOF is nothing to sneeze at. That's a huge turnout. Do want to thank everybody for making that happen. Also want to thank Whiplash SimCams for these great camera shots. But we really want to thank Jacob Collins, the people that really make it possible, the military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance. And never forget the nurse that unloads you when you get there. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank them all. We will see you after a half an hour break at Daytona.